guitars, screaming harmonized lead lines, dive bombs and feedback tails. No breakdown, no clean tone, just forward violence.
Lowtown, how's it going?
Otto,
You
hey
show up
guys.
right while Roger's
Stop
talking about
driving now.
Satanism. So you're here to cure us of that. Oh my goodness, look at that snow. Wow.
Yeah, we're doing barbecue right now. Look at this
Oh, it's
Where-
actually snowing now.
beautiful cottage we have here.
Yeah.
What you should do is do what the Swiss do. Find the nearest lake. Find the nearest lake. and
do skinny dipping?
Yeah,
Skinny dipping.
It's Canada, not Switzerland. Canadians
I'm
don't do anything.
Canadian Asian. So
That's two strikes against that idea.
I just want to jump back on here, give you guys a view of the
Nice.
area, and then
Beautiful.
And then I need to log off.
Yeah, the Romans were very influenced by those guys. There was some kind of a saying, what was it, that the Rome ruled Greece, but Greece conquered Rome. That's what they're learning, and you would have finally like Roman aristocrats would have their children raised to be taught Greek before they would learn Latin, so that they would be more fluent in Greek. That was seen as all the smart Romans spoke Greek, and this I think was kind of played down for a long time. I don't want to, and I remember at one point that earlier in a previous show we went on about some of these Afrocentric mythological figures. There are some very valid points about Africa as an origin for like a certain amount of our civilization, but we're talking North Africa, specifically Egypt, and also the Levant with the Phoenicians, although they spread throughout the Mediterranean, as we all know from the Punic Wars. So you had Egypt, which was the most powerful civilization in the area for a long time. Very, very old tradition, and we have no idea what kind of knowledge they had. No, probably not electricity, but they might have had very sophisticated knowledge of things like levers and mechanical devices. We do know they did a lot of amazing building, and so they would naturally be an influence. Greeks would obviously want to travel to Egypt to learn things. And a lot of the Greeks themselves said, we got a lot of our ideas from Egypt. Solon went and studied with the Egyptian priests. Plato's Story of Atlantis had Solon learning things from the Egyptian priesthood. Later scholars said, oh no, that's just poppycock. They were just impressed with the pyramids, but really the Greek miracle was completely homegrown. There was no way that, the Semitic influences of the Levant, or the worse yet, African influences of Egypt, could possibly have corrupted the European purity, yada, yada, yada. So I think there was a certain amount of that. I don't think that's so much anymore. But if you look at like these German, for some reason, historians of the 19th century and early 20th century, they were known as the Besserwissen school, the better knowing. We know better than the Greeks. The Greeks were saying, hey, we learned a lot from the Phoenicians. We learned a lot from the Egyptians. And they're like, no. I remember one phrase was interesting, that there are laws of race and blood, which make it impossible that the Greeks could ever have been intellectually or otherwise dominated by Semitic or African peoples. It just couldn't happen. They would, take one look at that Greek physiognomy and just kind of fade away. or possibly go to a work camp or something somewhere. I can just see the Persians who lived in this, whatever you want to say about their political system, and that's usually what the argument's going about, the free Greeks who will not bow, and the Persians who live under a monarchy of a king telling them what to do, and they all like kiss his butt and stuff. And there's stories of the Greeks coming to the visit the court, and they can't even be presented because they refuse to kiss the floor or make obeisance or anything. But when you look at, like, I'm just going over through Thucydides' Peloponnesian War again, and if you read that, or if you read Herodotus on the Persian War, you get the impression that these Greeks, I mean, it's all presented very heroically, but they're really acting like a bunch of primitive tribes. Squabbling with each other, barely getting together to fight off this huge imperialist aggressor. And I can't help but think that from the Persian perspective, this was just like a little minor border clash with these guys that ran around, and these men that oiled each other and wrestled naked every 4 years at the Olympics, and ran around and would just fight and die. But they their material culture. You remember the famous one where I forget who it was, one of the I think Spartan commanders, they won out over this Persian army in the field, and the Persian camp was still set up, so they went into the camp. And he ordered that the servants of the Persians to set up a meal as they would for the generals there. And he walks and says, "Look at this! In their wealth, they're coming to conquer us in our poverty." Because they didn't have anything. The empire was this vast, wealthy thing, and these are just a bunch of guys running around with, at the edges. If you just read these accounts with that in mind, I mean, I can almost see like the British coming into some primitive, hinterland of sub-Saharan Africa or possibly Scotland, and coping with that crude. Well, after they did have a certain clearance up in the Highlands at one time, it must have been very similar. When I've read, and I recommend this book highly, the personal narrative of a journey to El Medina and Mecca by Sir Richard Francis Burton, amazing man, and he talks about his journey disguised as a Muslim. Where he went to Medina and Mecca. He took part in the pilgrimage, and he loved to dress up in like a local, learn the language and culture, and just live among them. Now, I personally think they probably actually knew he was English, but they didn't care because he was a very good Muslim. He was a better Muslim than a lot of the people he was journeying with all accounts. But one of the things he talked about was at that time, this was all under Ottoman control for the most part, as much control as they had. It wasn't like, but you know what I mean. So it was under Ottoman control, and they talked about Saud's Wahhabis. These guys were bandits at that time, and they were seen as all believers, Shia and Sunni both were like, these guys are nuts. When they would capture a city, they would strip the mosques and tombs of their gold and stuff like that, because this is terrible and we can't have this. They have currently shut down several pilgrimage sites to these tombs, which according to their version of Islam is no pilgrimages to tombs. You can't do that sort of thing, and you can't decorate the tombs and this and that. And they're very, very fundamentalist in their own interpretation. And he's always, the way he talks about them is like they're just universally looked on as these maniacs, and heaven forfend that they ever, got any kind of large power. And here we are, we've got, all of these holy places. And this was very important, very interesting too. He talked about how the Muslims, from the way the Persians, the Iranian Muslims were treated by the Arabs, which was horrible. Sometimes they would just have riots, even in Mecca, where they would say, hey, some Persian, because they were they were the Shia instead of the Sunni. And plus they were Persians. The Arabs hated the Persians. So it's like, oh, well, some Persian did something. So they'd have it like a little riot and slaughter as many Persians as they could get their hands on. But there was a book, I think it was called, I'm going to get this title wrong, so please forgive me if you wrote it. I think it was 300 Years of Silence or 500 years, basically talking about how after the Arab invasion and conquest of Iran, just the entire intelligentsia was destroyed. They basically had hundreds of years of silence, no more music. It took a while for the Persians, the Iranians, however you want to call these guys, to start building up an identity again. And this was all because of the Arabs. And of course the Arabs brought Islam, and that's the elephant in the room. They can't say, well, Islam is bad. All they can do is say the Arabs are bad. You can see why maybe now they can even question that part of it. Is like, hey, we didn't want the Arabs here, and you know what, we didn't want Islam either. We want it to be Zoroastrians. And fortunately, there are still Zoroastrians around kicking. You could get it going again if it became a state religion. I don't see the Shah necessarily doing it. I mean, there are so many, I don't know. Then you start getting into the politics and the diplomacy between different countries. Being a Muslim country means you have a lot of diplomatic ties with other Muslim countries. If you became a pagan country, what pagan countries do you have? You've got Southeast Asia, Thailand, Burma, Japan. In East Asia, you've got India, of course. I use pagan by saying the definition of being neither Christian nor Muslim nor Jewish. And in fact, I was just listening to a Dhamma talk earlier today by Ajahn Punadhammo. And he was talking about the European influences on Buddhism. And one of the things that a lot of people might know is that Buddhism was originally what they call aniconic. You did not represent the Buddha in sculpture or painting or anything like that. But when the Greeks started converting to Buddhism in the Hellenistic kingdoms in India, they wanted statues.
Blackened clouds tear open wide, fire-right scripture in the sky. Wings of light and shadow clash, heaven screams as thunder cracks. Steel and flame in spiral flight, names unspoken curse the night. Blood of stars and holy flame fall like rain with no one blame. We feel the ground begin to shake as ancient toasts awake. As above, the heavens burn. As below, the world will learn. Holy fire, unholy might, endless war beyond our sight. As above, the angels fall. As below, we feel it all. Every soul, every scar mirrors what the heavens are. Trumpets split the shattered air, screams of wrath and whispered prayer, blades of judgment, claws of sin, no true end, no one wins. Sun and ash entwined in war, what was pure is pure no more. Cosmic war, an open fight, written now in flame and light. The sky decides, the earth obeys. The cost is always paid. As above, the heavens bleed. As below,
That's why when you see a Buddha statue, he's got that top knot and that hair, and some of them he has mustaches and stuff, because these are all based on the Greek god Apollo. He would have like statues from the Gandhara period have like Hercules there next to the Buddha. So and he mentioned, and I didn't realize this, that the Abhidhamma might be in part caused by the Greeks, because the Greeks were the ones that you probably don't know what the Abhidhamma. The Abhidhamma is it's basically a sort of a theological and psychological, very, very logical epitome of all Buddhist thought. And it's considered to be the third text of the three baskets of knowledge, three texts of knowledge. And Abhidhamma means, I guess, ultimate or best Dhamma, best teaching. And it's just this logical, incredibly autistic analysis of the Buddha Suttas, and the Buddha himself being the most amazingly autistic person in history, who listed every tiny little step in every kind of thought. And these guys took it even further. And who else but the Greeks would do that? Hello, V, you've returned.
Yeah. Well, you guys are talking about one of my favorite subjects. When I was a teenager, I used to spend a lot of time with Buddha. You know what I mean? Buddha and ganja.
Well, you mean Bud, perhaps.
Butter. Oh yeah, that the butter too.
Well, one of the things that
great brownies.
many people don't know is that in Buddhism, there are 5 precepts, and the 5th precept is against consuming alcoholic beverages. Generally, the actual words, how does it go? Something like fermented or distilled beverages which cloud the mind. And this is usually taken to include any other intoxicants that cloud the mind and make it more difficult to think. However, ganja is specifically allowed in the Vinaya for monks. And one of the few possessions a monk is allowed is a pipe specifically to smoke ganja.
And, it's funny. You say alcohol clouds the mind. Well, I mean, I know I'm from, again, a shamanistic background. We're literally biochemical warriors, right? We take substances to have a clearer mind.
Right.
Yeah. So there are times I can't do, if I'm struggling with something, I'm having a hard time, I would feel inspired, I'll have a couple glasses of some spirits, and then I'll work right through what it is I was having trouble with.
If it's not clouding your mind, that's a medicinal use. There's nothing against the medicinal use of anything.
Right.
But you can't use it as an excuse to say, oh, well, another bottle and a half of this brandy is the medicine. I don't feel good today. I need some medicine.
One of my favorite.
Well, I think that's allowable, certainly within Buddhism's very flexible, but it's a question of you being honest enough with yourself. They're saying, hey, this is helping me work, and not going to the point of where it's like you can't work anymore. Because then it would be clouding and getting in the way. So, and I guess that would have to do too with your ability to cope with it, your tolerance and your own personal chemistry.
I have a story. So I have many stories. But
you have a story, really?
One of them, deals with. Okay, so like my sister knows I have a high tolerance for just about every and anything.
Right.
She saw me for the first time drink when I was 17 at her wedding.
Right.
Open bar, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's always a formula for a wild wedding.
Well, so I'm like 17, right? And I'm drinking the whole bar. I'm basically the liquor starts running out. I'm drinking everybody else's drink.
Right.
Not finishing theirs. I'm still the only person sober enough. If people ask me, do you want to drive? Can you drive us? Because they can't tell that I'm drunk. Nobody can. This is one of my things. Nobody can tell the difference when I'm drunk and when I'm sober. My speech doesn't change. Nothing about me changes. The changes are in my head, but you can't see a physical.
As long as that also doesn't change when the cops are giving you the sobriety test of touching your nose and stuff, you're golden.
I'm an athlete, so I'm getting to that. So, I was shot in a drive-by shooting, right? And I'm in the hospital, Doctor's patching me up, and I'm on 2 drips of morphine, and the detectives come in because they want to get my statement. They're asking my sister, when can they schedule a time to come and talk to me when I would be more loose. And she was like, go talk to him now. He'll tell you anything you want to know in great detail.
There you go. Mike, hello. So glad you made it.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
And Bob is here. Hello, Bob. Way too long. Thank you for arriving.
Hey.
Oh, never mind, man.
This is now officially an old-fashioned quantum gathering.
I thought Roger had a script, right? He wrote the Pirates one, right? You guys working on a script?
The AI will fix anything.
Yeah.
Bob is gone.
I wanted to get back on the topic here. So I want to ask. So you talk about a clouded mind. So
Right.
What if that clouded mind gives you clarity elsewhere, like more sharpened instincts, being able that you normally.
Are you working with instincts or working with your mind? We're talking about working with it's for application.
Right.
If you don't want to work with the mind, well, then you don't have to regard this. But Buddhism is very focused, and the tools are to do a specific thing. The Buddha doesn't say you should do this. He's just saying, if you want to do this, these are the steps I took. Try them yourself and see. There are paths that use alcohol, inebriants of various sorts. And I know Buddhist monks, and I've heard Buddhist monks say that something, for example, like magic mushrooms, if they were done in a correct way, wouldn't be necessarily breaking a precept. So it gets back to what I was saying before about your individual chemistry and your individual path. But with Buddhism, like you're saying, if it dulls the mind, it sharpens this. Well, this isn't about sharpening that. It's about sharpening the mind. So in fact, instincts are a lot of the things that you go against in Buddhism. A lot of stuff that seems like perfectly normal, you go against. It seems perfectly normal to be angry, for example, at someone. But Buddhism teaches us this isn't really an effective way, if we can avoid it, to do this. The Buddha was asked, would you kill anything? He says, yes, kill anger. Because anger makes us stupid. Anger hurts us. And it hurts us more than the person that makes us angry. Bob has returned. Hello again.
So there's no room for righteous anger?
There's room for righteousness, though. And I think that's enough. I trust you, Mike, to assign a role to me that is appropriate.
Well, I'm just going to let it run it.
Yeah, let it run. I don't care. There are no small roles, only small actors. I'll be an old ghost.
I didn't get myself a role.
Now, 2 Chains. Does he? Are you writing in any jive? Two blades, right?
You are allowed to ad lib.
Okay.
We all ad lib.
No, I just wanted to be a little British bloke.
Not all of us Brits, not all of us Brits speak like that.
All right.
Bob, how's it been going with you? We haven't had you here in a long time.
It's very good, thank you. I'm baffled to hear you guys for some reason. My headphones aren't working, even though I set them up to work. And my laptop's just very, very quiet. So I'm concentrating intently.
What is Bob?
Intentness is good.
It's that laptop, I'm telling you. That or your connection. Yeah, we were having this trouble the other day. Alright.
I'm V, by the way. I'm V, by the way. I haven't met you.
Hey V, pleased to meet you.
Is Bob short for something?
It's short for so many things. We'd need a whole show just to explain it all. Roberta is the official full version. Bob works.
Bob works.
Would you happen to be rocking a Bob?
Who?
Bob haircut, perhaps?
No.
I'm just curious.
Alright, I posted
So
what
not
they
only
gave
do
me
you want
there.
to know my full name, you also want to see me.
to climb stone by stone, meaning folded into bone. No signs, no command, just a spiral and a hand. They asked the well what it meant. The well asked back how far they'd been. I don't teach, I don't confess, I only measure your excess. Coffee never tasted the same after meaning lost its name. Coffee never tasted the same, and you still care. They index test, they number turns, they sang a fire before they learned. Down fields chosen, up fields earned. Memory blurs, but stone remembers. You called it ritual, you called it fate. You trusted it, I trusted I don't teach, I don't explain, I just remain unrestrained. Coffee never tasted the same after pressure learned your name. Coffee never tasted the same, and you stay. Montero is dead, the system holds. Symbols persist, people fall. Descent recorded, return implied, correction pending, index line.
You know, and so
Right.
if you have like 10 or 20 different people with different projects, they don't need to compete with each other. And you can be in several different projects and keep your projects separate. So it's a really, really good way, I think, for an artist, particularly.
Right. He's not telling
I'm
you
in the
this
art
has to
world.
be, he's not telling you this has to be your project, but if you have a project, no matter what it is, and you have that same vision of privacy and collaboration, then he's facilitating that. Here, this is a tool for you.
Absolutely. So if you're writing a book, right, and you want to collaborate with your editor, you can put your stuff up in your group, and you and your editor can talk there. Or if you're like a show like this and you've got, say, a stable of 20 people, you and your 20 people can be together in your project. And so you can have these multi-levels of intimacy, if you like, or even just a family group, you know? It can be something like a group on WhatsApp, but just not there where everybody can see you and
Not commercialized and exploited.
exploited.
I would argue that in a lot of situations there needs to be some form of oversight.
Yes, that's me.
Exactly. Johnny the first launch wave.
No, there does. There's absolutely. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have hierarchy, but I'm saying within a network, you have a network of interaction, and each node has its own hierarchy. There doesn't need to be a hierarchy within the network.
And before Willie Leave takes over, I want to just talk to Mark and mention, when you talk about oversight of some sort, I think a small cohesive group provides its own oversight through consensus, and certain people will arise. The shifting hierarchy, it's very labile. And Bob Dub reigns over them all. But but you know what I mean? I think within the group, each group will have its own dynamic, and each group, I think, is capable. We don't need a downward kind of push, the oversight looking down from above. I think we can have inner sight if we're a cohesive enough group.
Well, the tools exist, right? So you don't need to use the tools in your group if in your group you have close bonds. But if you're in a group that needs that
a larger
oversight, the tools exist so that you can implement them at your own discretion.
As on the point of oversight, a bit of a story. I think it was 2021 when we were still running the Minds Community Open Source Initiative. We decided to invite me, Phoebe, New Zealand Minds Gaming, decided to invite somebody else into the administration side. This other person started out okay, but became quite disruptive quite quickly, and really it was up to me to lay down the law and conversation with Phoebe and New Zealand and Minds Gaming, and really the sort of it was really for me to actually step in.
You had to do
Thankfully, this other person disappeared. It must have got a five and just disappeared. Quite quickly. Anyway,
that's usually the best way to deal with dissent. Is for the dissenting person to disappear. It's the quickest and easiest.
Hey, look at him. Hey, I don't know. I ain't got a clue what y'all are talking about, man. Hey, this here Willie Lee. I didn't hack in. Man, hey, Mark, man, hey, you're speaking English, man, but I can't understand a word you're saying. Hey, that Bob Dub. I love me some Bob Dub. I miss Bob Dub, man. Hey, look at him. Hey, I thought you done went and fell off the face of the planet, man. I went and looked all over the place for you. Ain't nobody heard from Bob Dub.
No, Willie, I didn't. I just got really busy making videos, and also you went to space. And so, I've been waiting for you to come back.
Yeah, hey, Willie been all over the place, man. Roger Hansen and Mark Edworthy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, I like you. Who's the fellow with the he ain't got a name. Who is that with the red light? Mr. Robot. Okay, Mr. Robot. Hello, Otto.
Hello, Willie. Good to see you, or hear you at least. How's it going? You've been in space. Tell us about space before. Don't forget to tell us about space.
Hey, we went to space a long time ago, man. That's a story in and of itself. Hey, but I just wanted to give credit where credit was due and say hello to all you folks, man. And y'all just go on knowing I ain't trying to put nobody down, but it don't matter what room that there is, Mark Edworthy is going to be the smartest man in the room. That ain't no lie.
That
Yeah.
is true. That is so true.
I mean, I ain't calling nobody dumb or nothing, man. Hey, but that Mark Edworthy, look at him. Hey, when he speaks, y'all listen to him, man. Come on.
I'm blushing again.
Hey, there ain't no coherency or anything that makes any sense to that entire script. I don't know who wrote it, but man, look at him. Hey, you got a donkey part in there, man. Hey, I like the donkey part, but even what the donkey says don't make no sense. Hey, but I come up with an idea, man. Hey, I'm gonna start doing Willie the donkey from now on, man. Or at first, see, I thought the donkey's name was Juan, but apparently Juan is the guy that owns the donkey. So he can't be Juan the donkey, because Juan is the guy that owns the donkey. So he could be Willie the donkey or Hugo Chavez the donkey or something or another, man. No, but hey, I got to thinking about Willie the donkey or a whole lot. I done wrote out a whole story. I ain't even gonna lie, man. Hey, the whole story. I sent you a little bit of what I come up with. Willie owned the donkey, and he was a talking donkey, and Willie got secrets. And then Willie found out that the donkey can talk, and Willie didn't want his secrets getting out. So he hauled the donkey off, carried him over to Mississippi, dropped him off in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, hey, some fellas throwed a rope around his neck, and then they hauled him down to Mexico. And they come up with the idea that the donkey was going to be a mule from now on. They told that donkey, they said, look at him, from now on you a mule. And that donkey said, I ain't no mule, I'm a donkey. No, you a mule. Yeah, they put satchels on his back, man.
What's the difference, Willie? What is the difference between a mule and a donkey?
Man, I don't know. Hey, there is a difference. There's like three different ones, I think. A mule, a donkey, and something else.
I mean, there is a difference. I just don't know what it is off the top of my head.
I don't know right off.
If a horse and a donkey have a child, that's a mule.
Yes. It's got to do with the breeding.
Yeah, well, mules are sterile. They can't have children, but they're the offspring of like a donkey and a horse.
You know,
they work harder. They work harder than donkeys.
But you got to understand, it's like a play on words, man. They're gonna turn the donkey into a mule. You know what they call them? They call a mule. You know, like they. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I like it, but we got to know what the definition is, before we make it funny, right? Before it's officially funny, we got to know the definition, right? And hello, everyone. I just showed up.
Censorship sucks.
Hello, censorship sucks.
I love me some censorship sucks, but guess what?
It's Willie there. I know my Willie.
But we done. Hey, we done talked about it, and we have established that no matter who comes in the room, Mark Edworthy is still the smartest man in the room.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that just goes without saying.
Oh man, the things he comes up with. Hey, man, I still like the idea of the donkey being a mule and running drugs from Mexico into the United States. They say what happens is they put a satchel on his back full of white stuff, and he takes it over across the border, and then there's a bunch of fellows over yonder, and they put a bunch of money in the satchel, and then he takes it back. And he makes a lot of friends along the way, man. There's your story. Come on.
Satchels like that.
That would be an excellent play.
Yeah, hey, Willie, the drug running donkey.
Yes.
There's a song in that, I tell you.
There's a story about Willie. He was a drug running donkey. Hey, that already rhymes.
It already rhymes.
Full of mushrooms. That would be very psychedelic. Gets awful hungry halfway there. Has to munch on some of them.
Amazing.
They grow out of the cow pads. Yeah. Woohoo.
You don't need approval to do it. You understand? You just do what you want to do, and everybody says, "Oh, that's great." Anarchy at its finest.
This here's Willie the donkey, man. I'm a donkey. Look at him. Hey, we in the studio right now, man. We're doing a what they call an audition. I'm auditioning for a part, man. Hey, they want me to play Juan. I want me to play Juan the donkey, and they gonna have me read off these lines, man. Hey, y'all.
Born with ears, hooves, and pride, crossing lines on the midnight ride. Stamp says donkey, heart says mule, customs booth don't make the rules. They ask my name, I kick the gate. Identity don't need your state. I'm a mule on paper, donkey by law, dragging contraband across the floor. Call me what you wanna say, I'm hauling truth, but what away. Maple leaves and dirty crates, carry things you legislate. Not fast, not sleek, but built to last. Half-free truths kick your ass. I'm a mule on paper, donkey by law, smuggling sense you can't outlaw. Play it loud, step it twice, I cross your lines, I don't ask nice. Hybrid scare you, labels slip. I haul the cracks your systems miss. I'm a mule on paper, donkey by law, northbound nights, stubborn flaw. You draw the line, I cross the seam, I decide what I need.
Look at here now, look at here now. Holla, hey, this here's a donkey. I'm a talking donkey. Hey, I got a story to tell, man. Hey, I want to tell y'all all about Willie's Worm Farm, man. And this guy that runs Willie's Worm Farm, hey, kicked me off of it. He found out I could talk. And when he found out I could talk, man, he hauled me off. He dropped me off in a little old place in Mississippi, man. Man, I got stories. Man, hey, there was these fellas, man. Hey, they throw the rope around my neck and they hauled me down to Mexico and they called me a mule. Hey, I'm a donkey. A donkey is what I am, but these rascals, they calling me a mule, man. Hey, they put satchels on my back and they told me, they said, look, I say you run across that line right there, and run over to the other side, and they gonna be some fellas waiting on you. Hey, and they gonna fill your satchels up, man, and they gonna have. My name is Juan. Juan the donkey, man. Hey, I got stories to tell. I got lots and lots of stories to tell. Come on. My name is Juan. Juan the donkey, man. Hey, I got stories to tell. I got lots and lots of stories to tell. Come on. Yeah, man. Hey, y'all thought my name was Willie the donkey, but it is really Juan the donkey, man. Juan
Night.
the donkey.
Campfire
Hey, I got
crackles
stories
in an
to tell,
abandoned
man.
barn.
Hey, y'all stay tuned.
The pig
Come on.
stretches out near the warmth. Two blades sits in shadow. The others rest against crates and barrels. Snow falls quietly outside. The pig began to speak in a low voice.
Before the frost learned to fall downward, there was a man who carried two blades. He came from the west, where the land steamed with blood and oranges. In that skin, he called himself El Cachillo, double the Spanish two blades.
Wildcard snorts.
Always west. Why do myths always start from the west?
Probably because the sun dies that way.
He wasn't sun. He was incision. The clean cut. He could cut a mountain from its shadow. And one day, he came to a field no one plowed because it remembered Keith. Oh, great. Another cursed-filled story.
The pig interrupts sharply.
Not cursed, remembering.
The pig paused.
Fields don't forget what you bury in them.
Flashback begins as the barn flickers with the
pig's memory.
The companions fall silent as the tale takes hold.
This was Pangea. The barn was new. I was smaller, but still too large. Lord Edworthy had taken the land. He thought he could shape it with stone and reason. This place had its own geometry and its own hunger.
Enter.
Spanish two blades approaching a strange fence.
Lord Edworthy waiting.
The barn looms behind them, wooden and alive. Spanish two blades says to Lord Edgeworthy.
You called for steel or prophecy? I bring both.
I called for silence. This place breathes too loud.
They stood at the edge of the harrowed field, and under the soil I turned.
Back to present day.
You were in the field? I was the field. I was the offering. I was the appetite.
And he entered anyway.
He always does.
Return to flashback. Spanish two blades steps through the gate. The barn creaks. Air thickens. Something behind the straw moves.
Show me your mouth, creature.
So I did.
The barn door
fly open.
The young pig
erupts from within.
Within. The two clash. Steel against hide.
Hide.
Steel against hide.
Scream against scream.
Scream against scream.
This is not the contract.
No. It was older than your parchment. Older than your crown. How did he win? He didn't. He cut me, yes. He bled the barn until it wept fire. But victory? Let me guess. You let him go. He said thank you with both blades, and I remembered the taste of mercy, so I let him reincarnate. Wait, that's how this works? You allow reincarnation? I require it. Someone must carry the memory.
Two blades stared into the fire.
I dream of barns sometimes.
Then you're ready.
The companions fall silent.
Snow gathers against the barn doors.
The pig licks his teeth and
hums something older than melody. The pig licks his teeth and
hums something older than melody.
Would you like me to tell you what he whispered as he died?
Only if it rhymes.
Two blades takes a blade and begins to sharpen it.
But this time, I want the ending different.
Then you best write it with your hands.
The barn creaks softly. Something under the floor shifts.
The tale is not finished.
The pig spoke slow and deliberate.
It began long before your calendars learned to count, when the world was one land, one breath, one bleeding tooth. Back in Pangaea, where the rock still steamed and the sky was close enough to whisper into. That's where I first met him, the man with two blades. Not your version. He was Spanish then, elegant, wounded, unapologetic.
The wild card interrupted.
Wait, you're saying you remember Pangaea? I remember the taste of every century. Some linger longer.
The heavy grunts.
You say you fought him? We danced. That's different. He came with another, Lord Edworthy, a noble name for a man full of cowardice. That's another morrow. The barn wasn't a barn then. It was a shrine, a vault. They came seeking something buried beneath the ash, and they found me.
What were you then?
I was hunger, dressed in flesh. Kind of hunger you don't feed, it feeds you. And he brought questions. Always the same questions.
Do I ask them too?
The pig pauses.
You are the question.
The scene shifts into memory.
This ground is cursed. I feel it in my marrow.
Then we must dig deeper. Curses cling to shallow men.
The pig in memory, and with a younger voice.
You dig and you dig. Forget the soil is watching.
They opened the shrine, broke the seal. Heat poured out like memory, too bright to forget. They thought they were ready.
It's alive down there.
So am I.
The fight was not a fight. It was a forgetting. His blades kissed bone, and I sang through my broken skin. You lost. I learned. He didn't kill me. He carved me into something that waits.
Back to the present.
So, why tell us this now?
Because your two blades has arrived again, and the field is harrowed. You want revenge. I want rhythm, the old rhythm. Strike and scream in silence till the next verse.
And if I refuse...
The pig smiles.
You won't. You never do.
Unseen. Yay!
Welcome to the point of gathering, where minds unite.